All right, so for the Tennessee Titans, seventh player selected in the 2026 NFL Draft with their second sixth round selection, pick 194 overall, they selected center Pat Coogan out of Indiana. So this is another lockstep selection in terms of like agreeing with the value. I did go in a different direction in my personal draft. So just to give you guys an overview, I do this annually, go through all of the Tennessee Titans selections, give analysis, the good, the bad, the projection, the role. And then I also have another series where I go through all of the selections that I would have selected, and I've done it live as the Titans are selecting for accountability purposes. Speaking of accountability, I'm Charles Barnes at BU_scouting. I'm Mr. Accountable, and other people have also called me Mr. Clairvoyance. Go look at those radio shows. But I've been in recruiting offices collegiately. I've coached basketball, football. Um, for 10 plus years, I've kept up with my accountability in terms of Tennessee Titans draft picks, suggestions, even on-field plays and stuff like that, where position coaches have tuned into my lives and maybe borrowed some stuff, but that's to we'll keep that close to the vest and let that play out how it needs to play out, or some stuff is playing out in real time right now. But anyway, um I also have kept accountability of my free agents, and have a pretty decent hit rate. So definitely do your research on that. Just doing that for, if this is your first time viewing, who the messenger is and where he comes from. But anyway, Pat Coogan, center. Love the pick, love the value here in the sixth round. I think he probably should have been drafted earlier. He was my center four, and to get him at this range is excellent value. Super tough, big time leader. Really like the profile overall, like a junkyard dog. He's gonna communicate well, and that's very important for centers. Um, He's tough. Like I said, I haven't said that yet. It's very hard to describe centers. You snap the ball. You have to have good leverage in the anchor. He doesn't have the longest arms. He's not super athletic, but he can hold his own. And I could say, like, at this point, there's some development that all these players need. Even from pick one to pick 257, everybody needs development. But I really think there's a level of maturity to where it won't take much for Pat Coogan to reach his potential. I think he's a future starter in this league, and I think to get him at this range is super ideal. So you look at the Tennessee Titans specifically in their situation; they have some veterans already slotted, pun intended, with Austin Slotman, I think is there. And then obviously like you could move Jackson Slater there, which I think is probably a better position for him. But then you have Pat Coogan, who is a top five center in this draft, with excellent experience profile collegiately, obviously been a national champion, but just a leadership profile, and then the ability to actually do the job. Consistent snaps, consistent level of snaps. You see him communicating and pointing out protections. Um, and then obviously some of the concerns you might have of him, like, kind of lean cut at, in the lowers. Obviously mentioned the arm length earlier. Not the greatest of great athletes. But for the center position, you just got to hold it down in that vacuum and then be able to move when you're able to on those second level run blocks, right? And I think he has the ability to do that. So let's keep this moving. This doesn't take much, right? It's a sixth round selection, 194 overall, and it's a center, right? And I just think that once again, Titans following their board and taking the person and adding depth to that interior offensive lineman room in general. And we'll see how it pans out.